Foreign policy has become a major issue in the presidential race. For many Latinos in the country, the relationship the next president will have with Latin America will influence their decision in November. But no matter who gets elected, for Professor Samuel Farber, the new president will bring only a marginal change to the current situation.
In terms of John McCain, I think that it would be very little different than it is with Bush. In the case of Obama, I think it's a more complicated situation because on one hand, it's a contradiction in Obama. On one hand, at the very general level, he talks very well. There is more dialogue with leaders, including those who have been hostile to the United States, including Fidel Castro in Cuba and so on. That's at a very abstract general level. When you get down, however, to specific policies, it doesn't seem much of a difference from that of McCain.
According to a study done by the Pew Research Center, opinion polls regarding foreign policy show McCain leading Obama. 51% of registered voters see Arizona's senator's position as about right versus 43% for Obama. But how does McCain's approach to Latin America differ from Obama's? The main difference is their position on free trade agreements.
McCain will pretty much continue the President Bush policy of unrestricted neoliberalism, as it's called in Latin America. So laissez-faire policies apply to Latin America. Obama, again, at one level, has opposed some of the trade agreements, claiming that he's concerned about a better treatment for environment and workers' rights in those countries. I suspect, however, some of that talk is a cover for a protectionist policy for American jobs.
On his 3-day visit to Colombia and Mexico, Senator John McCain wanted to show he cares about the issues important to Latin Americans: security, immigration, and trade.
And I note that a free trade agreement has been concluded between Colombia and Canada, and you are negotiating with the European Union as well. I hope that we could move forward with a free trade agreement between our two countries.
Also in Mexico, McCain emphasized his backing of the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, even though this has been controversial in some key battleground states that could help decide the presidential election.
To fuel our economy, we must create more jobs for Americans and for our neighbors to the south. With better jobs, more of them will be able to stay in their country. We can't go back on our word on free trade promises with Mexico, Canada, Central America, or anyone else. We must encourage more trade agreements to create more jobs on both sides of the border.
Obama has pledged to renew the country's alliance with Latin America after what he called 8 years of neglect under President Bush.
What I oppose and what I will always oppose are trade deals that put the interests of Wall Street ahead of the interests of American workers. That's why I oppose NAFTA. That's why I voted against CAFTA. I will oppose the Colombia Free Trade Agreement if George Bush is insistent on sending it to Congress.
Despite being questioned by his lack of experience on foreign policy, Barack Obama has attracted a number of foreign policy experts that served under the Clinton administration.
Giving the advisors, the people who are advising Obama, such as Aston Goldsby, who's his primary economic advisor, he's a moderate of the Chicago school, so he's pretty conservative. So giving that, or Mr. Furman, another major advisor he has chosen, giving the advisor he has chosen, it would seem to me that he will continue to support this laissez-faire neoliberal agenda that Clinton as well as Bush have followed. So there again, the generalities sound more impressive than the particular policies he's proposing.
Many experts believe this election will have huge implications for many governments in Latin America and will divide the continent along political and commercial interest lines.